So in the last video, we talked a little bit about what is foster care, when is it necessary, what are the different types of foster homes, and a little bit about what the process is like. I told you guys I wanted to make another video talking more in depth about what the process is like. So here it is. Here we go. So once you've made the decision to become a foster family, the first step in the process, at least in Arizona, is to find an agency. As you're looking for an agency, you'll find that there are several agencies out there, and each one is just a little bit different. So decide on what it is that you're looking for and the needs that you're wanting to meet. Then you will want to contact agencies, talk to them about your ideas and your plans, and if they fit into what you're looking to accomplish. Then go with what feels right. Go with the agency that you know is going to best meet your needs. Once you've found an agency that feels right to you, you can schedule what's called an intake interview. This is where you will go and meet with somebody from your agency, and they will ask you questions, and they will give you a ton of paperwork to start filling out as you begin this journey. So let's talk about the paperwork. I keep telling you guys that you're going to have to fill out a lot of paperwork during the application process to become a foster parent, and that's true. In fact, so much paperwork that I probably don't remember everything we had to fill out. But here's some of what I do remember. I remember that they required us to fill out 10 years of addresses and 10 years of work history. I remember that they asked us to fill out information about our financial stability. So they want to know, what is your income? What do you spend on your mortgage? What do you spend on your monthly bills? What are you spending on groceries per month? Are you meeting those needs? This is a really important question because there are people out there who think they can go into fostering and earn money, and that's just simply not the case. The money that you get from fostering is supposed to go to those children that are in your care. They are not to go to your monthly expenses, and you need to show your agency and the state that you're going to use those funds appropriately to care for those children. Another thing that they're going to require of you is to have a background check. So when you do your background check, if you haven't lived in your state for more than 5 years, they may require you to fill out a form that is called an Adam Walsh form. This form allows them to pull a background check from another state or states that you've lived in the past 5 years. Along with this, they're going to require that you go and get a fingerprint clearance card. Another thing that you'll be required to get is CPR and first aid trained and certified. They will also give you a form that you will need to take into a doctor and have a physical, and that doctor will sign off saying that you are good to go and you're physically capable of being a foster parent. The last part of the paperwork that I remember filling out was probably the most fascinating part to me. They'll give you a questionnaire that you fill out, and each question will come with a little box where you check yes, no, or maybe. Some of the questions on the questionnaire are things that I'd never really thought about, so I actually found it really helpful, and I felt like it got me thinking about things that I had never thought about before. So some of those questions are you willing to care for a child who has ADHD? Yes, no, or maybe. Are you willing to care for a child who has depression or anxiety or is struggling with another mental illness? Yes, no, or maybe. Are you willing to care for a child that's been sexually abused? Yes, no, or maybe. Are you willing to care for a child who is physically violent towards animals? Yes, no, or maybe. Are you willing to care for a child that is destructive? So maybe they're putting holes in walls. Yes, no, or maybe. Are you willing to care for a medically fragile child, a child with a feeding tube, a congenital heart disorder, diabetes? Yes, no, or maybe. Are you willing to care for a child who has been exposed to drugs? Yes, no, or maybe. and so on. It asks you a lot of in-depth questions, and it really has you evaluate, what do I feel like I am capable of? What are things that I say, absolutely, that's not something that I can do? Or maybe I could do that. I might be able to do that if I have the right support. Or yes, I am definitely willing to take that on. Foster children come with a variety of needs, and so this questionnaire is actually very important when you are analyzing yourself for what you are capable of, and then allowing your agency to see, this is what this person feels they're capable of, this is what I see that I feel they're capable of, and you guys can come together and find a placement that best fits in your household. The next part of the process is training. In order to become a licensed foster care provider, you must complete a certain amount of hours of training. For us, we attended what was called Foster Parent College. This was offered to us through our agency. We met with them on Saturdays for 3 hours each Saturday for 5 weeks. We were also asked to complete some online trainings, quizzes, and surveys throughout the week that would prepare us for our Saturday discussions. This was a very helpful training course because it went over things like how to care for a child who has experienced trauma, how to support biological families, how to care for a child who is culturally or ethnically different than you are, how to identify what behaviors are normal and abnormal in children, how to identify different personality types and to better care for those personalities, and so much more. There was a lot of things that were covered in that training course, and I'm very, very grateful that my husband and I went through it in order to prepare us to foster. So let's talk about the next step, which is the home study. Once you have completed all of your paperwork and you've gone through the training, you are ready to have a home study done. Somebody from your agency will come out to your house and conduct a series of interviews. For us, I believe it was 2 separate interviews, and the interviews were a couple hours each, I believe. The interviews are going to ask you questions about your past, your present, and even your future. They'll ask you about the people that you surround yourself with. They'll ask you about your relationships that you have in your home. They interviewed my children and asked them how they felt about being a foster family, about how they felt about maybe sharing their toys or potentially sharing their bedrooms. They asked, how they felt about sharing their parents. So they will conduct a series of interviews and they will get to know you better. But again, it's very important to understand that a home study is there to, yes, analyze your situation and see what you are capable of, but also to help make sure that when a child comes into your life, it is the best fit for you and that child. Because fostering is complicated enough. So they are trying very hard to make sure that everybody involved is as successful as possible. Let's talk about the home inspection. This is the next step in the process, and this is one that people get very, very nervous about. The state will send someone out to do a full home inspection and make sure that your home is in compliance with their licensing rules and regulations. They will come into your home and they will test your smoke detectors. They will want to see that you have a carbon monoxide detector and that they're placed in the right areas of your home. They will want to know if you have firearms and if those firearms are stored properly. They will want to see where you keep your medications and that they are locked away and stored in a way that is in compliance with their guidelines. Same with chemicals. They have you lock away your chemicals, and they will want to see that. They also require you to have a fire extinguisher and a first aid kit. There are certain items that they want you to have in the first aid kit, and they will check to make sure that you have those items. Another thing that they check for is the water temperature in your house. They will turn on like your kitchen sink and they will test the water temperature at its hottest. And they will see if you are in compliance with the water temperature that they allow. All of these things can be really, really intimidating. And I think what intimidates people the most is, what if I forgot something? What if I forgot to put some ibuprofen in the locked cupboard and it was sitting in my mirror in my bathroom? What if they see that and then they just tell me I failed? Well, again, I will remind you that these people, they are not there to intentionally come fail you. They want to see you succeed. They know there are children out there that need you and they want to pass you. So if they see something in your home that's not in compliance, they are going to give you every opportunity to fix that and to make it better. And if you can, while they are there, they will let you. I heard of a situation where somebody was missing a carbon monoxide detector. So as they and the inspector finished the inspection, the inspector allowed her husband to run to the grocery store, grab a carbon monoxide detector, and come back just so that he could pass the inspection. So these people are, of course you're going to come across crazy people in all trades, but understand that really the purpose of the home inspection is to keep you safe and to keep the children in your care safe. It's to cover everybody's bases, and it's really a good thing. Once you have finished all of the steps in the process, you will have a completed file. This file will then be sent into the state for review and final approval. Once approved, you will then be officially licensed as a foster home. When you are officially licensed as a foster home, you will then start receiving phone calls for children who need you and your safe and loving home. So, next time, I really want to discuss with you guys what it's like to start receiving phone calls for potential placements. So stay tuned and we'll talk later. Thanks.